What if I told you that the greatest city on earth, the capital of capitalism, the trendsetter of fashion, the birthplace of modern culture, was almost a catastrophic failure? That it was saved not by generals or politicians, but by a simple ditch? This is New York, the city that never sleeps. But to truly understand its relentless energy, we have to wake up its ghosts. Because the history of New York isn't just the history of a single city. It is the history of ambition, of desperation, of hope, all seen through a tiny island just 13 miles long and 2 miles wide. From the Lenape Native Americans who first called it home, to the Dutch merchants who bought it for beads, to the millions who arrived by ship with nothing but a suitcase and a dream, this is the story of how a colonial outpost became the capital of the world. Welcome to the Info Lens. Our story begins in 1609. An English explorer named Henry Hudson, sailing for the Dutch East India Company, steered his ship into a vast natural harbor. He was searching for a passage to Asia. He didn't find it. Instead, he discovered a pristine river, the river that would eventually bear his name, and a dense, wooded island inhabited by the Lenape people. The Dutch weren't interested in colonization for the sake of freedom, they were interested in profit. Established a fur trading post and named it New Amsterdam. It was a mess. A rowdy, raucous trading village filled with sailors, smugglers, and taverns. But the most famous transaction in American history took place here in 1626. A Dutchman named Peter Minute purchased the island of Manhattan from the local tribe. Legend says he bought it for $24 worth of beads and trinkets. Imagine buying one of the most valuable pieces of land on earth for the price of a few simple goods. For the Lenape, however, the concept of owning land was foreign. They likely saw it as an agreement to share the land. The Dutch saw it as a deed. That fundamental misunderstanding is the first thread in the complex tapestry of this city. By 1664, the English sailed into the harbor and demanded surrender. The Dutch, more interested in commerce than conflict, gave up without a fight. The English king, the Duke of York, gave the city a new name that would stick forever: New York. For the next century, New York grew steadily, but it wasn't yet the dominant force it would become. It competed closely with Boston and Philadelphia. It even served as the first capital of the United States. Yes, you heard that right. George Washington was inaugurated right here on Wall Street in 1789. But then came the ditch. The Erie Canal. In 1817, New York State took an enormous gamble. They decided to dig a 363-mile-long canal from the Hudson River all the way to the Great Lakes. It was an engineering feat unlike anything attempted before. When the canal opened in 1825, it transformed New York into the economic funnel of an entire continent. Goods from the Midwest, wheat, timber, furs, could now flow directly to New York Harbor and out to the world, and European goods flowed back in. Suddenly, New York wasn't just a port, it became the engine of a growing nation. The population exploded. And with that explosion came both opportunity and chaos. In the 19th century, the world came to New York. First the Irish, fleeing the Great Famine. Then the Germans. Later, Italians and Eastern European Jews. They arrived by the millions, seeking a better life. But many found themselves living in horrific conditions in places like the Five Points, a slum so dangerous and overcrowded, it became notorious around the world. This was the era of Boss Tweed and Tammany Hall. The city was a study in extremes. Immense wealth, built by figures like the Vanderbilts, existed right next to abject poverty. This clash came to a head in 1911. A fire broke out at the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory in Greenwich Village. The doors had been locked to keep workers inside. 146 workers, mostly young Jewish and Italian immigrant women, were trapped and died. It was a tragedy that shocked the conscience of the world. But from that darkness came light. The disaster galvanized the labor movement, led to sweeping factory reforms, and gave birth to a new sense of social responsibility. Out of the ashes, New Yorkers began to demand a better, safer city for everyone. If the 19th century was about building the width of the city, the 20th century was about building its height. With no more room to spread out on the island of Manhattan, the only direction was up. The skyscraper race was on. It was a competition to see who could pierce the sky first. The Chrysler Building, with its iconic stainless steel spire. Then, the Empire State Building, rising from the depths of the Great Depression, giving hope to a nation looking upward. Culturally, New York was now the center of the universe. The Harlem Renaissance was redefining black art, music, and literature. Jazz poured out of clubs in Harlem and into the streets. It was the home of F. Scott Fitzgerald, George Gershwin, and a new kind of American energy. But the party couldn't last forever. After World War II, the city underwent yet another transformation. Master builder Robert Moses carved highways through neighborhoods, pushing people into the suburbs in a trend known as a white flight. By the 1970s, the city was financially broken. Crime was rampant. The South Bronx was burning. The headline in the Daily News famously read, "Ford to City, Drop Dead." But New York never stays down for long. The 1980s and 90s saw a dramatic renaissance. Wall Street boomed. Crime plummeted. And once again, immigrants poured in, this time from Asia, Latin America, and the Caribbean, replenishing the city's cultural DNA. Dewey Street in Chinatown, with its sharp bend originally designed to dodge bullets from rival gangs, became a symbol of the peaceful, thriving immigrant communities that now define the city. And then came September 11, 2001. The attack on the World Trade Center was the city's darkest hour. It was a wound felt around the world. But in that tragedy, the city's character was cemented forever: resilience. Today, over 8 million people call New York City home. They speak over 800 languages. Think about that statistic. It is the most diverse place on the face of the earth. From the Dutch traders of the 17th century to the Ukrainian refugees arriving today, the experiment of New York has always been the same: can complete strangers from every corner of the globe live together, work together, and build something greater than themselves? It's loud. It's rude. It's expensive. It's infuriating. And yes, sometimes it smells really bad. But it is also the greatest urban laboratory ever created. It is a place where the children of Irish immigrants run the fire departments, where Chinese businessmen negotiate with Jewish diamond merchants, and where a kid from the projects can grow up to be a billionaire, or even the president. That is the enduring power of New York. It is, and always will be, the city that rebuilds itself. The city that looks at a ditch and sees a superhighway. The city that looks at an empty sky and sees a skyscraper. What's your New York story? Have you walked these streets, or is it still on your bucket list? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey through history here on the Info Lens, please hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you never miss another story from us. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.